Hey everyone, ready to build a solid career? Today we're taking a deep dive into interview prep for material testing technicians.
Yeah, these are the folks that ensure the quality and safety of the materials that quite literally build our world.
Exactly. Think bridges, buildings, roads. All those structures rely on these technicians to test materials like concrete, asphalt, soil, and make sure they're up to par.
Absolutely. It's all about making sure those structures can withstand the test of time.
And today, we're going to help you get ready to ace that interview. We're going to be using some real questions pulled from RoleCatcher's resources, so you'll know exactly what to expect.
And we'll sprinkle in some career insights along the way, too. Ready to dive in?
Let's do it. First up, a pretty common question. Explain your experience with material testing equipment. Sounds simple enough, right?
Right, but it's not just about listing off every tool you've ever seen. It's about showing you understand how to use that equipment to get results.
So instead of just saying, I've used calipers, I should give a specific example.
Exactly. You could say something like, I've used calipers to measure the diameter of steel rebar to ensure it met the required specifications.
So it's all about showing you've got the practical know-how.
Exactly. Now, if you're newer to the field, that's okay too. Focus on any relevant coursework or training you've had, even if it was in a lab setting.
So if I used a soil compaction tester in a college lab, that's worth mentioning.
Absolutely. It shows you've got the foundational knowledge and you're eager to learn more.
Got it. Now, I bet they often follow up with questions about specific pieces of equipment. Like, what if they ask, tell me more about your experience with the Marshall stability test?
That's where you really get to shine. Explain how you prepared the samples, ran the test, and analyzed the results.
So it's about proving I can use those tools effectively and understand the results they produce.
Exactly. Okay, let's move on to a slightly trickier question. What are some common defects you've encountered during material testing?
This one seems like it's testing my knowledge of potential problems.
Right. And your attention to detail. Don't just say cracks in concrete. Be specific.
So like hairline cracks versus those caused by improper curing.
Exactly. Or if you've tested soil, you could talk about things like improper compaction or the presence of organic material.
So we're showing we can not only spot those defects, but also understand what might have caused them.
Right on. Okay, question number 3 is all about accuracy. How do you ensure the accuracy and reliability of your test results?
This feels like a really important one. I mean, inaccurate test results could have serious consequences.
Absolutely. This is where you highlight your commitment to quality. Start by outlining your process, step by step.
So start with equipment calibration.
Exactly. Do you follow a strict schedule? Any specific protocols you adhere to? Mention them.
And then I talk about following industry standards like ASTM, ACI, AHH2FE.
Yep. Those acronyms show you speak the language of the field. And don't forget to mention any validation techniques you use.
Like repeat testing or peer review.
Exactly. Anything that shows you're going above and beyond to ensure those results are accurate and reliable.
Makes sense. Okay, on to question 4. Describe a time you encountered an unexpected challenge during material testing.
Oh, I bet this one's about problem solving.
You got it. The interviewer wants to see how you think on your feet.
So what kind of story should I tell?
Think of a specific situation that really tested your skills. Maybe you got an unexpected test result or a piece of equipment malfunctioned.
And then I'd walk them through how I tackled the problem.
Exactly. Did you do some research, consult with colleagues, brainstorm solutions?
And end with a positive outcome, of course.
Right, showing how you resolved the issue and kept the project moving forward.
Got it. Okay. Safety is obviously a huge deal in this field. Question 5 asks, how do you maintain safety during material testing?
This is where you showcase your commitment to creating a safe work environment for yourself and everyone around you.
So I should talk about using PPE. Yes, but be specific. Mention things like safety glasses, gloves, steel-toed boots, hard hats, the whole shebang.
And if I've worked with hazardous materials, I should talk about proper ventilation and using respirators.
Absolutely. And explain why you take those precautions. Like I always wear a respirator when handling cement powder because I understand the risks of inhaling fine particles.
It shows I'm not just following the rules blindly. I actually understand the safety hazards involved.
Exactly. And this is also a good place to mention any safety training or certifications you have.
Like an OSHA certification.
Yep. Anything that shows you're committed to staying informed about best practices. Okay, question number 6 takes us back to accuracy. How do you ensure that your test results conform to industry standards and specifications?
So we're back to those acronyms again. ASTM, ACI, AH-TOW.
Right. But this time you're going deeper. Explain how those standards relate to the specific materials and tests you're discussing.
So for example, I might say, when testing concrete, I always refer to the relevant ASTM standards for mixed design and testing procedures.
Exactly. And if you've got any experience with audits or certifications, definitely mention those too.
It shows I'm going the extra mile to ensure quality and compliance.
Right. Okay, question 7 asks, how do you maintain quality control during material testing? So, how is this different from just ensuring the accuracy of individual tests? This one is about taking a more holistic approach. It's about the entire testing process from start to finish.
So I should talk about my approach to record keeping and documentation.
Absolutely. And do you implement quality control checks at various stages of testing? Do you have a system for tracking samples and ensuring their integrity?
It's about being proactive and catching potential issues before they snowball into bigger problems.
Exactly. Think about it like this. If you weren't there, would the testing process still maintain the same high standards?
Ah, that's a good way to put it. It shows you're thinking about the bigger picture and creating a culture of quality. While we're on the topic of prep, we should definitely mention a tool that can give you a serious edge. RoleCatcher's AI.
Oh yeah, it's a game changer, especially for a role like this where technical knowledge is so important.
Okay, imagine this. You've got your resume all ready to go.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure it's really tailored to the specific job you're applying for.
Right, you want to make sure it hits all the right keywords and highlights the most relevant experience.
Exactly. Well, RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze the job description and suggest improvements to make your resume stand out from the crowd.
It's not just about adding keywords, though. It can actually suggest specific accomplishments or projects that align with the job's requirements.
Oh, so instead of just saying, I've tested concrete, I could highlight a project where my analysis of concrete strength data led to a design change that saved the project time and money.
Exactly. That kind of detail really makes you a memorable candidate, and it shows you understand the real-world impact of your work.
That's so cool. Now, remember those behavioral questions we were talking about earlier? The ones where you have to tell a story about a time you faced a challenge or demonstrated a particular skill?
Yeah, those can be tricky.
Well, RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you craft compelling narratives for those too. It might suggest adding key details to your story or highlighting certain aspects to really showcase your problem-solving skills.
It's like having a virtual interview coach in your pocket.
I love that. And on top of all that, RoleCatcher has a massive library of interview questions that are tailored to specific roles and skills.
Including a whole section dedicated to material testing technicians.
So I can practice answering questions about ASTM standards, ACI guidelines, or even specific testing methods like the Proctor compaction test.
Exactly. It lets you go beyond general interview advice and really hone in on the specific knowledge that's crucial for this role.
That's amazing. Okay, let's get back to our list of questions. Question number 8 deals with a really important aspect of material testing. How do you handle and dispose of hazardous materials used during material testing?
This one is all about safety and responsibility. You need to show the interviewer that you're aware of the risks involved and take the necessary precautions.
Okay, so where do I start with this one?
Begin by talking about safe storage and labeling practices for hazardous materials. Do you use designated storage areas? Are you familiar with proper labeling procedures and safety data sheets?
And I should also talk about disposal protocols.
Absolutely. You could say something like, I always dispose of chemical waste according to our company's hazardous waste management plan and in compliance with local regulations.
And if I have any training or certifications related to hazardous waste management, this is the perfect time to mention them, right?
For sure. It shows you're committed to handling these materials responsibly and staying up to date on best practices.
Okay, question 9 shifts gears a bit. How do you keep up to date with new testing methods and equipment? I imagine this is important because the field is constantly evolving.
You got it. It's all about showing that you're committed to lifelong learning and staying ahead of the curve.
So how do I best showcase that?
Talk about your proactive approach to professional development. Do you attend industry conferences or workshops? Subscribe to relevant publications.
And be specific. Have I recently taken a course on a new non-destructive testing technique or explored the latest advancements in digital imaging for concrete analysis?
Exactly. Sharing concrete examples demonstrates your genuine interest in staying ahead of the curve.
Got it. Now, before we move on, I want to circle back to RoleCatcher's AI for a second because there's another feature that's super relevant to this question.
You're talking about its ability to help you tailor your answers based on current industry trends, right?
That's it. The AI can analyze tons of industry data like research papers, publications, and job postings to identify those emerging trends.
So you can sprinkle those insights into your answer, showing that you're not just knowledgeable about current practices, but also aware of what's on the horizon.
For example, I could mention the growing use of drones for infrastructure inspection or the rise of machine learning in material testing data analysis.
Exactly. It shows you're forward thinking and eager to embrace new technologies and approaches.
Love it. Now, before we dive into the final set of questions, I think it's important to take a step back and talk about what a career in material testing actually looks like beyond the interview.
It's a fascinating field with a lot of variety, and the work itself can be really rewarding.
Okay, paint a picture for our listener. What does a typical day look like for a material testing technician?
Well, one day you might be out on a construction site collecting soil samples and performing compaction tests to make sure the ground can support a new building.
And the next day, you could be in the lab meticulously analyzing concrete cylinders to verify their compressive strength and ensure they meet the engineer's specifications.
It's a role that takes you from the field to the lab. Working with a diverse range of materials and testing equipment, there's always something new to learn.
Speaking of learning, what about career paths? What directions could someone in this role go?
Oh, there are tons of possibilities. As you gain experience, you might specialize in a particular area of material testing, like concrete, asphalt, or soils. You could become a certified concrete field testing technician or a specialist in soil mechanics.
So there's room for growth and specialization within the field itself.
Absolutely. And you could move into supervisory or management positions, leading teams of technicians and overseeing larger testing projects.
And for those who are interested in the why behind the testing, there's always the path toward becoming a quality control manager, ensuring compliance with standards across entire projects.
Or if you're passionate about research and development, you could pursue further education and specialize in areas like materials science or engineering. The possibilities are really vast.
It sounds like a career with a lot of options.
Hmm.
And that actually brings us back to RoleCatcher again, because it has some great tools for exploring those options.
You're talking about its career exploration features, right?
Exactly. RoleCatcher can help you research different career paths within material testing and related fields. It can provide information on salary expectations, job outlook, and required skills for different roles.
So you can use it to map out your career trajectory and figure out the steps you need to take to achieve your goals.
It's an awesome resource for anyone looking to advance their career in this field.
Absolutely. Okay, are you ready to tackle the final set of interviewed questions?
Let's do it. All right, let's jump into those final questions. This one focuses on quality control, but with a team dynamic. How do you maintain quality control when working with a team of technicians?
This one is really digging into your leadership skills, how you make sure everyone on the team is maintaining those high standards.
So it's not just about my own process, it's about making sure the whole team is on the same page.
Exactly. You want to talk about clear communication. Do you have regular team meetings to go over procedures and address any concerns? Do you create a space where people feel comfortable speaking up if they see something off?
Yeah, that open communication is so important.
Absolutely. You could also mention your approach to training and mentorship.
Yeah.
Do you guide newer technicians? Is there a system for cross-training on different testing methods?
So basically, I'm showing that I can lead a team towards that shared goal of high-quality work.
Right. It's about fostering that culture of quality. Okay, this next one's a scenario-based question. How do you handle a situation where your test results indicate a material does not meet the required specifications?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It is, but it's a situation every material testing technician might face. The interviewer wants to see how you handle that pressure.
So it's not just about identifying the problem, it's about what steps I take next.
Exactly. First, emphasize that double checking. Make sure there wasn't an error in the process or calibration.
Right. Eliminate any chance of human error.
Then, talk about how you'd report the discrepancy. Who would you notify? How would you document it?
Transparency is key.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You need to show that you understand the implications of those non-conforming materials and that you'll take the appropriate steps to address the issue.
Safety first. Okay, last question. It's a classic. Why are you interested in a career as a material testing technician?
Ah, the why question. Seems simple, but it's your chance to really connect with the interviewer.
Show them what makes me tick.
Exactly. Talk about your passion for the field. Maybe you're fascinated by how different materials behave under stress. Maybe you love the hands-on aspect of the work.
Or that feeling of contributing to building safe structures for the community.
That's a great one. It shows you understand the impact of your work.
It's about aligning my own motivations with the company's values.
Exactly. Let your enthusiasm shine through.
Well, that wraps up our material testing interview prep deep dive. We covered a lot of ground today, from specific questions to broader career insights.
And don't forget about all those incredible tools RoleCatcher has to offer, like AI-powered resume tailoring and a massive library of practice questions.
Remember, preparation is key to acing that interview. With a little effort, you can walk in feeling confident and ready to impress.
The construction world needs skilled material testing technicians, and you can be one of them.
Thanks for joining us today, everyone. We hope you feel empowered and ready to take that next step in your career journey.
Best of luck.
Until next time.